it was a foreign minister's retreat, so it was it took a very informal setting where each foreign minister was able to give the opening remarks, and then the Secretary East came forward and gave a presentation of all the ideas which were outcomes of the first foreign minister's retreat in Thailand. And they were put into certain verticals, and based on those proposals, then there was a free flow of ideas, and then the concluding remarks. So I think it was very well organized, and I think since it was a very informal setting, so we were able to share our ideas candidly and openly. So I think we will be able to, I think, most of these ideas which came about, we will be able to materialize them.
Today you met with the Prime Minister of India also.
Yes.
What kind of your experience there?
Well, first of all, I think this is the first time I met the Prime Minister, and he's a completely charming man. I must say that, and he's also a very visionary man. And one thing which struck with me was that when he stated that what he feels is that whereas the European Union succeeded, then let's say as the South Asia and or Southeast Asia, where we lag behind, is mainly because of connectivity. So in that regard, we need to concentrate on connectivity. And I do agree with the Prime Minister's assessment that if there's more connectivity between not just between Sri Lanka and India, but also between India and the let's say Myanmar and Thailand, there will be more opportunities for businesses to flow in this part of the world.
So my second question to you, that BIMSTEC is a regional organization that connects countries around the Bay of Bengal to promote economic growth and trade.
Yes.
And energy, transportations and counterterrorism, which is you mentioned. How is Sri Lanka approaching its participation, say, in BIMSTEC?
In what regard?
In the regards of energy, cooperation, trade, transportations, and other.
Yeah, so I think basically in the discussions we were able to put them under three verticals. One is the energy security, one is the food security, and then the other thing is the people's security. And then whatever the other areas which we spoke of are being taken under these verticals. So for example, let's say people-to-people connectivity. Now India is coming forward with an e-visa application for medical tourism. So anybody in the BIMSTEC areas can apply for e-visa through e-visa for medical tourism. So we also, spoke of things such as space and BIMSTEC satellite and nano satellites, which India has, I think, worked with Nepal in this regard. So, there was a wide array of subjects which we spoke of, and I think when some of these things materialize, certainly the people in this part of the world will feel more together and would feel more connected to one another.
Do you think, Minister, that the island country Sri Lanka requires more attention in terms of to grow tourism, to grow the trade, to grow the businesses, export, import in the country?
Of course. So that's why we are looking at more connectivity with India. If you look at the one thing which the Prime Minister, the Modi, commented today was if we generate enough wind power alone in the northeast and the northwest of Sri Lanka, that alone will give us new revenue streams. If we develop solar and wind in the northeast and northwest of Sri Lanka, we can produce 14 times our energy requirement Okay, so what do we do with the excess energy? We can produce them to green hydrogen, but we also know that India's energy demand for energy is ever rising. Yes, and we can also sell part of that energy to India. And in terms of, we are also looking at a bridge connectivity with India, but we are also looking at sea connectivity and land connectivity, sea connectivity and air connectivity to India. If we pertain to the air connectivity, we want to increase the tarmac in the Jaffna airport, so that the planes can, large planes can come directly to Jaffna. But through these connectivities, we want more and more Indians can come to Sri Lanka. And if you see I think the travel patterns of some of the Indians, earlier it was like, most of the time the Asians come in families. But now you see a lot of boyfriends and girlfriends coming to Sri Lanka. So we would very much invite all the Indians to come to Sri Lanka and experience it for themselves. You have been in Sri Lanka, and the last time you interviewed me, I asked you to come back to Sri Lanka and experience the different. And there's something for everybody in Sri Lanka. We have the beaches, then we have the wildlife and the wild parks over there. Then we have the marine wildlife, such as the blue whales and the dolphins. Then we have the historical sites with the stupas and the Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa. Then we have the hill country where mainly tea is grown. So there's something for everybody in Sri Lanka, and I would say that still about 70% of Sri Lanka, the beautiful areas of Sri Lanka, are still unexplored. So not just for the people of India to visit Sri Lanka, but also to Indian investors to come and look at Sri Lanka and invest in tourism in Sri Lanka.
Okay. So that island country Sri Lanka is sharing a long border in sea. And recently, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has written a letter to our Foreign Minister and seeks that we need to release some fishermen which they have been arrested on July 11.
Yeah.
Is the matter has been raised with you?
No, I did have a bilateral with Dr. Jayashankar, but this matter was not discussed. This is a persistent problem, but I also would think that especially the Tamil Nadu, the Chief Minister and the people of Tamil Nadu should realize that the people in the north and east has suffered the most during the war. After 30 years war, for 30 years they suffered because of the war. And if you see the numbers, it's not just like one or two fishermen coming to Sri Lanka, but it's thousands of boats from India come and poach the fish. So I think this problem has to be discussed bilaterally, and we need to have a solution for this, because otherwise the people who will be suffering are actually the poor, the fishermen from north and east. And also in this regard, that's why we need more connectivity, and we need to develop things such as tourism in that area. So for fishermen, then they'll have other opportunities for livelihood. At the moment, when they don't have any other options, they resort to fishing. But I think through bilateral dialogue, we should be able to resolve this issue amicably.
Minister, my one more question related to the island issues that India has very concerned about, that during sometimes back, India has raised very actively, which is Kachatipu Island, I think,
okay,
if I'm not wrong. So, is there any updates regarding that island issues? And
no, India has not raised that. I think certain Indian
in a bilateral or on the sidelines.
No. India, it's during the Indian elections. I think it was raised in the context of that as a historical mistake. Okay, but thereafter it has not been raised with the government of Sri Lanka. In that regard, the island has been raised in bilateral discussions. I think 3 times. Once when we were dominion of England, when the Royal Air Force used the island for bombing. Then thereafter, I think there were discussions pertaining to the fishing rights of the Indian fishermen. It was amicably resolved, and then thereafter there were discussions because the island was used historically as for smugglers, to people from smuggling goods from India to Sri Lanka. But the sovereignty of the island was not, I don't think even historically it has been discussed.
My final question to you, that Indian cricket team is going to travel to Colombo for the T20 and the ODIs matches.
Yeah.
I hope that you are a lover of cricket. How you see and where you stand, and what's your thoughts on the cricket diplomacy between two countries?
Oh, well, I support Sri Lanka, of course, but I think the Indians are doing remarkably well in cricket, and not only in cricket, also in other sports, and we have a long way to go. So the Sri Lankan cricket has been going through a difficult time, but that's part and parcel of sports, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I think we need to get our act together and resolve maybe have long-term plans in order to ensure that the young and the upcoming cricketers are given opportunities, and we need to have more training facilities. So I think cricket tends to be a religion in this part of the world, and unfortunately with my the work schedule and all that, I really haven't been able to follow cricket as much as I want to.